I like
Yeah.
that. And next, to move on to a team that made it all the way to the final game this year, was came up just short. I know our guy Anthony Handy likes to remind us of that. The
Yeah.
Alabama Crimson Tide. They're back.
Yeah.
It's
I
working.
I'll be curious to see what they do this year because I know Nick Saban's frustrated with the whole NIL thing right now. He and A&M went back and forth
Mm-hmm.
in the off season about
Called
that
out
in,
Dion and
Oh, yeah.
in comments, but they're looking to avenge a very devastating national championship loss to Anthony Handy's Dogs, and
Mm-hmm.
they have two really big anchors coming back for their team. They have the returning Heisman Trophy winner of Bryce Young and defensive beast Will Anderson. At, many predict it'll be a repeat of the SEC. That's the Crimson Tide, Anthony Handy. And I have mad respect for Nick Saban as a coach and as a leader and how he manages that football team, and they are like my second go-to team if many people don't know to watch when I'm not watching Michigan. I love watching Alabama. I should
Alabama.
actually bring on my best friend Jody sometime. She is a huge Alabama
Come
fan.
on. Come on.
Huge Alabama fan. She could probably talk all of us under the table about those boys. And they do predict they'll probably face Anthony's Dogs in the SEC championship.
yeah.
I know recruiting's been a challenge for them lately as far as the whole NIL thing. They're not at the top of the list anymore like they used to be. And I know for a fact that Nick Saban is going to be working harder than ever to get players to come play for him. Right now, top players at position at quarterback, you're looking at Bryce Young, who's the returning Heisman Trophy winner. You got Jalen Mulrow, who had extended reps this season, and he really played well in their spring game. And then you have freshman
Yep.
Ty Simpson coming in. So you have Bryce Young, then Jalen, then Ty. Running backs, you have Jameer Gibbs. He's had an MVP performance in their spring game, looked really good. You have Trey Sanders or Jace McClellan, who was recovering from a season-ending injury, if we didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then you have Roydell Williams and Jamarian Miller also in the running back core, but it's going to be Gibbs first, then Sanders if McClellan isn't coming back from his injuries just right. The tight end unit is probably their shallowest unit in a long time. They don't have much talent there as of right now. Cameron Latu is probably the most veteran tight end right now for them.
Yeah.
You have Robbie Outs, who's showing great improvement, Amari Nablack, and Elijah Brown or Danny Lewis Jr. Those are the underclassmen in the group, but right now that's the unit that Nick Saban needs the most improvement at because they have the least amount of talent at.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers, you got Ja'Cory Brooks, Trajan Holden, Tyu Jones Ball, and Shaz Preston at wide receiver Z and wide receiver X. You have Jermaine Burton, who is the Georgia transfer. You should know that name, Mr. Handy. Christian Leary, who's making momentous movement, had a great spring game. Aaron Anderson and Kobe Prentice. And then you have your other wide receiver cores of JoJo Earls, who's a great slot receiver, Kendrick Law and Isaiah Bond. Kendrick Law and Aaron Anderson showed Nick Saban really good stuff in the spring game. So they are in talks of being in the rotation, but right now your front runner and favorite is Ja'Cory Brooks. And their biggest receiver is Holden right now. He's showing the most in the offseason to prove that he deserves to be in the mix in the starting lineup. And at left, so there's your receiver core right now, your running backs and your quarterbacks. You're looking at your line. So your left tackle of Tyler Steele, Kendall Randolph, or Amari Knight, and Elijah Pritchett. Right now, Tyler Steele is showing the most there. Left guard, Javion Cohen, Terrence Ferguson II, and Dane Shore. Right now, Javion Cohen is showing the most there. And actually, Tyler Steele, they said, had probably one of the best spring games they've seen from a left tackle in a long time.
Wow.
So, yeah, center. This is their biggest challenge right now online. They don't know who they want as their starting center at the moment. Saban is not impressed with with the three that he has.
Ooh,
so
that's not good.
There's going to be a challenge between Seth McLaughlin or Darian Delcourt or James Brockmeyer. Right now, it's mostly between Seth McLaughlin and James Brockmeyer right now. But yeah, the center is not clicking with Bryce Young very well at all. And it was really hard to watch the spring game for Saban because of that. So that brings us to the right guards, the right guard and the right tackle of Emil Ekiyor Jr., Damian George Jr., Tanner Bowles, J.C. Latham, Tyler Booker, and Tommy Brockmeyer. J.C. Latham pretty much has the start there.
Yeah.
And then you have Vanderbilt transfer Tyler Steen to take left tackle, right guard Emil Ekiyor Jr., and center will probably be Damian Delcourt if he returns from his injury. And then J.C. Latham showed great improvement at right tackle. Delcourt and McLaughlin will battle for center. So there's your offense, which I'm really excited. I just hope Bryce Young can prove that he deserves maybe another Heisman Trophy, but we'll see. I really like the kid. I really like that he has poise and he plays well and he's very mature. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting. Saban's crotchety this offseason, by the way. I've been watching lots of his press conferences, and that man is just,
people are bucking. They're bucking back up against him.
Yeah, they sure are.
I think they're going to come out and set the world on fire this year. Like, after how they lost that national championship game.
Yeah, but
it's going to be tough to play them this year.
So for the defensive side, if you look at the depth charts for the defensive side, for defensive end, you have Justin Abajier, and then you have Braylon Ingram, you have Damon Payne or Moncal Goodwin, and you have Curtis Perry. Defensive tackle, DJ Dale, Tim Smith, Jamie Burrows, Tim Keenan III, and Jaheim Otis. And then defensive end, you have Byron Young, Jamarian Latham, and Anion Barnes, and Isaiah Hastings. He returns 3 seniors, Dale Young and Aboje, who are likely starters. Tim Smith and Jamie Burrows will be the inside passing threat. They'll be offered a lot on third down options. Smith could be backup at defensive end as well. He's very versatile and can play multiple positions at defense. And then for linebacker, you have the man who I want to win the Heisman most of all is Mr. Will Anderson. I love that beast of a man. I'm just so excited to see what he brings this season in the SEC and for Alabama. And then you have Chris Braswell also, who also will get lots of playing time, Keanu Cott, and then Henry Tototuos, and he looked solid in the spring game. Kendrick Blackshire and Jaheed Campbell also will be vying for those spots. They have a lot of good linebackers for Alabama. That's for dang sure. They're loaded. They have Jalen Moody, who's also a very good linebacker. Deontay Lawson, Ian Jackson, Sean Murphy. It will be between Moody and versus Lawson for that. And then for the Sam linebacker, you got Dallas Turner, who should be a starter. DeMoody Kennedy, Quandrius Robinson, and Jeremiah Alexander. So Nick Saban has a lot of very talented linebackers, so it should be very interesting to see what happens there. Cornerback, you have Kyrie Jackson or Eli Ricks, who's returning from a season-ending injury, if we don't remember that from last season. And then you have Brian Branch and then Malachi Moore. And they're looking at Moore and Branch should be the starters there. And then safeties, they have many good safeties, but the top three they're looking at are Hellmans, Battle, and Story for that position. And so their defense is loaded. It's ready to go. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, and I really hope, sorry, Mr. Handy, but I hope Alabama comes back to dominance in the SEC and rules it again because I love me some Nick Saban. It was hard to watch him coach at Michigan State because I really liked him, really liked the way he ran that team. I think he could have taken that team far had Alabama not come calling. But let's face it, who gets the most coaches plucked from him because of how well he brings people into the fold in Alabama? You look at Lane Kiffin, you look at Sarkisian, you look at all these coaches that go off, Kirby Smart, that go off to coach these big teams. And so
they finally just this year beat him with Kirby Smart.
Yeah, first one.
And Jimbo, didn't Jimbo? Wasn't he under him?
Yep, Jimbo was.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Look at what Nick Saban does. He brings these talented coaches in as his offensive coordinators, and they just go.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I hope they're back at where they should be, and I hope Nick Saban has those boys ready to just steamroll. Because I do love them. I do love Bama. It's hard not to love Bama.
So two of the old coaches, Jimbo and Kirby Smart, both got the W. Before it was, I think it was 0 of 25 or 0 of 26.
Something like that, yeah.
You know? And they finally do it. So maybe that's why Saban's a little in his feelings.
Saban's really in his feelings this offseason.
It's gonna be interesting. But you know, like you guys said, the year after they lose, normally it's a buzzsaw. They just go through the competition.
It's kind of like Tom Brady with the Super Bowl when he
and we're moving on. We are moving on from Tom Brady. All right.
But you make the comparison. He loses, he comes back.
There we go. Absolutely. There, I'll give it to you. And then when you give the man, how was it? Avocado tequila? What was it? Is that what he had? He does things like.
Oh man! Oh, wow!
The sacred trophy.
I'll never live this down, will I, Alex?
No.
Oh me! Thank you so much for that. I'm eager to.
Thanks for watching. If you liked that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.